I think knowing going into it how you make a judgment on these issues is really important to our vote as whether to support you or not. Because I don't want to go back to those death totals in this country. And I truly believe that women should be able to control their own reproductive systems within, obviously, some concern for a viable fetus.
Mm-hmm. I understand the importance of the issue. I understand the importance that people attach to the Roe v. Wade decision, to the Planned Parenthood versus Casey decision. I don't live in a bubble. I understand. I live in the real world. I understand the importance of the issue.
Have your views about whether Roe is settled precedent changed since you were in the Bush White House?
But I will tell you what my view right now is, which is an important precedent of the Supreme Court that's been reaffirmed many times, but then and this is the point I want to make that I think is important, Planned Parenthood versus Casey reaffirmed Roe and did so by considering the stare decisis factors. So Casey now becomes a precedent on precedent.
What would you say your position today is on a woman's right to choose?
As a judge, it is an important precedent of the Supreme Court. By it, I mean Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. Been reaffirmed many times. Casey is precedent on precedent, which itself is an important factor to remember. And I understand the significance of the issue, the jurisprudential issue, and I understand the significance as best I can. I always try, and I do here, of the real-world effects of that decision, as I tried to do of all the decisions of my court and of the Supreme Court.
You have said that the Nixon case might have been wrongly decided. Was U.S. v. Nixon wrongly decided, in your view?
That quote is not in context and is a misunderstanding of my position. That's up there. I have repeatedly called U.S. v. Nixon one of the 4 greatest moments in Supreme Court history.
Was it rightly decided?
I have said that. I've said yes, that the court's holding that a criminal trial subpoena to a president in the context of the special counsel regulations in that case, for information, a criminal trial subpoena for information under the specific regulations in that case, I have said that holding is one of the 4 greatest moments in Supreme Court history.
Can a sitting president be required to respond to a subpoena?
So that's a hypothetical question about what would be an elaboration or a difference from U.S. v. Nixon's precise holding.
That's right.
And I think going with the Justice Ginsburg principle, which is really not the Justice Ginsburg alone principle, it's everyone's principle on the current Supreme Court. And as a matter of the canons of judicial independence, I can't give you an answer on that hypothetical question.